how's everybody doing today? Just getting done with chores here. Dad took off a little bit ago to finish cutting the hay up at that field I rent. Then we're going to try and knock that sorghum down. See what kind of fun we get into with that. So we'll check back after a while. That's a lot of stuff out there. Had a few spots went down. I was hoping it was gonna stand back up, but hopefully the disc spine's gonna pick her up. So we'll find out in a few minutes. Told him we probably should have put the hydro on there, but he was pretty confident he'd be able to go slow enough. That down stuff, though, that's just a friggin' mess. Should have been cut a wheel probably over a week ago, just couldn't get at it, didn't have the weather. Alright, up here working on the chopper. Sharpened my knives up and was going to set my shear bar, set it up on this side. Got looking at the other side here. Give me a minute. And I see this whole piece is moving. And that shouldn't be moving. It's supposed to stay stationary. This pivot's on top of this. I don't want to cave away, but I'm going to weld me in a piece. Try to hold that. Hopefully that'll fix her. Alright, up here after chores. So, had all this welded in. I got my knives set up. See if you can see in there. Got them so they're just barely touching. I actually have a feeler gauge I stick in there for 0.010. So that just barely squeaks in there. And I don't know if I showed it or not, but there's a cam bolt. I put this in where this bolt goes. Then as you turn this, it'll move that shear bar. And do the same on the other side. And then I just put a regular 1/2-inch bolt in where that's supposed to go. And snug this one down good. So we gotta put this plate back into place and do the same on the other side, and hopefully it'll be in good shape. I'm gonna grease this thing up and hopefully get something done tomorrow. Well, that's a lot better. To figure out why those last few loads we chopped last time we were chopping were so long. Always something. Well, we got the last load for the day going in. Got just a little bit left to chop on the hill here, then we got to go up towards town. Highly doubt that sorghum be anywhere near dry enough to chop tomorrow, but we'll see what happens. They're saying a 80% chance of rain for tomorrow night, but not much you can do about it. It had to get cut before it all was flat. So anyways, we'll check back sometime. Done chopping hay, and I got one load of sorghum on. It's just too dang wet. Hopefully it ain't gonna rain much tonight. We'll get her dried back out, but we'll see what happens. But yep, way too wet. That was a forest of a mess out there, so I'm not surprised. We made the length of the cut a little longer because it's so dang wet. Hopefully that'd help it from making a mush mess out of it. But so I think we'll see what this rain does tonight, and rake her over at some point, shorten her up, hopefully be in good shape. Alright, it's next day here. It didn't rain more than, enough to settle the dust, so we'll take that, but it's really cloudy. A little break in the clouds here and there, but might let it dry up a little bit, and probably see if Dad will go up there and ted that sorghum out later today. And I think we got 2 more days and then a couple of chances of rain again, so hopefully in a couple of days we'll get it dried down good enough to chop. But in the meantime, I'm going to fix this wagon up. So I already got my chain undone, shear bolt out of here. That seems pretty stuck, so I'm going to stick a gear puller on here, try to pull this sprocket off and get at that bearing. And of course it's got to be difficult. So we're going to heat her up, put the gear puller on again, and see if we can get this puppy out of there. Moving slowly. Really got to be careful. We don't want to bend any of them cogs on that sprocket. Give her a little more heat. Well, that was a fighter. Well, I was gonna have Dad go up and Ted that sorghum out. And of course there's a flat tire in the front of the 656. Not that you can't run a narrow front with one tire, just kinda hard on the bearings and whatnot, so. Took that home, fixed her up, ate some dinner. Got that all hooked up, he took off. I'm gonna go up there and make sure everything's gonna work, so. Then we'll get back to working on that chopper box. Hopefully that shaft where I heated that bearing up is all cooled down by now. I think I'm gonna have to cut that bearing off. We'll see what we get into. So we'll show you a little bit of the tedder in action and seatbelt thing. Then we'll check back after a bit. Old tedder, that's a lifesaver and stuff like this, that's for sure. Stuff's so wet it's got water on it underneath on those windrows. Well, pay attention what I'm doing here. Alright. Back to fixing. Alrighty. Well, we got everything, all the flanges off. Flanges all look real good yet, so we'll reuse those. Try getting a chisel back there to wiggle that loose. And that thing is stuck, so I'm gonna buzz her off with a torch. And I got myself a bucket of water there. Splash a little in there and keep a little on hand because I don't want to burn up my wagon. So if you're real careful, normally you can cut these bearings off and not harm the shaft. Dad always hates it when I do it, but I haven't screwed one up in a long time, so hopefully we don't screw it up here. So, and there's the bearing. There's the shaft. So I'm going to emery cloth this all up, and we'll lube her up good and drive that bearing on. But I'm going to make sure that bearing ain't too tight. You don't want to get halfway down the shaft and all of a sudden that bearing stops moving. And you're in a bit of a pickle. You gotta try to pull that thing off and shine her up more and whatnot. So I'm gonna try to avoid that, so we'll check back probably when I get things going back together here. Not so bad. Put this other flange on, put my lock collar on, and we should be in good shape. Alright. Should be ready to rock for hopefully tomorrow. Hopefully everything will dry out good enough. So now about time to head to the barn. Well, she's drying down pretty good. A little wet underneath yet, but tedder is a wonderful thing. Never be able to turn this over with the inverter, so. So it was supposed to be full sun today. Not so much. But I think we'll get her raked over at some point here, and it'll probably be dry enough to chop yet this afternoon. If not, we still got tomorrow before the chances of rain, so we'll see what happens. Alright, new day, new bag. She's still plenty wet, but I think it'll be alright. Just gonna have to keep it chopped along, I think. Alright, that's the last of it. So we got a load at the end of that haylage bag, so I'll take that off around 3 acres or so. Not bad at all. Alrighty, well, I think I'm going to call this one good enough. And I don't know why we're zoomed in there. Guess we're going to get back to hauling out of the pit and all that fun jazz. I do got to a little project coming up. I got to make a spot to store some feed. We're going to try some different feed for the cows. So if I can make it work, I'll see if I can video a little bit of that. But I guess, call her good. Thanks for watching. We'll catch everybody later.